addressing the media in his post-game press conference.
We're down 20 at halftime. I think it shows you the character and class of young people at the University of Minnesota, what they made of. They played Gopher-style basketball in the second half, and the first half with those 13 and 14 turnovers, just really we're shooting ourselves in the foot. But the second half, we played the way we were capable of playing, got back in the ball game with a great chance to win. So I'm very, very proud of my team, where they competed and would not quit. Being shorthanded, we don't make excuses. We had 8 guys were able to play, and we expect to win the basketball game with those 8 guys. But the guys tonight, we really miss probably Cal Sandin. Cal turned his ankle at the end of practice yesterday, and he made a big difference in the ball game tonight. But even with him playing, we don't make no excuses. The credit go to the Bulldogs. Got an outstanding basketball game, and we wish him nothing but the best from this point on.
Okay, we'll go ahead and open it up to questions for the players. Focusing on basketball would be much appreciated during this 8 minutes. Go ahead.
Quincy, how disappointed were you in the back over here? How disappointed were you to find out you were not going to have not only 4 players but 5 without Kyle?
Well, you know, we had 8 players who was ready to go, and I think tonight showed that, you know, everyone came to play. So I was just fortunate, you know, to have, I mean, the guys played, you know, stuff happened. So, you know, it was just a great game for us.
Did you feel you were pushing yourself a little too hard to try to compensate for the loss of the others? You were 3 for 19.
Well, you know, you got to give them a lot of credit. They played some good defense. And, you know, me just trying to be aggressive, you know, those happen. But the guy played to my left and 7 other guys, they played hard, and it was just a great game.
Quincy, Darryl Fry, St. Petersburg Times. Can you talk a little bit more about the defense they played on you? They said they played like a diamond and one on you, had a guy covering you all the time, and was getting help on the blocks too. Can you talk about just what they did to sort of not give you any good looks?
Well, basically what they did, they had the little fella, and his job was not to let me catch the ball. And he fronted me on the post, and they had a big guy in the back so that we couldn't lob it over the front. But, you know, one thing about it, you know, we have a great coach. You know, it's just for me, I have to work hard to get other folks shots. And I think that's what happened tonight. You know, when they get in that junk defense, you know, the top of the key is wide open and some other people can step up and make some big shots. And I think the second half really showed a lot. You know, guys stepped up and had a big game when they took the ball out of my hands.
Dusty, it's Bob Baum from Associated Press. Dusty, when did you find out you were going to start, and how did you feel throughout this game and the kind of opportunity that you had?
Well, I didn't find out until I was going to start until this morning at pregame. And, you know, I felt like it gave me a rush that I know I was going to start, but I knew I just had to go get my best and do whatever for the team to win it, whatever I had to do. Number one thing to do was help the team win.
Quick follow-up. Are you on scholarship?
No, I'm not.
Is he going to get one, Coach?
Didn't come out in the end, but I'm proud of everybody. We worked hard. And
Anyone else for the players? Oh, one in the back. Okay. One up here.
For either player, do either of you feel cheated that it's over? That, you know, the NCAA experience ended after one game when you might have felt you could do a little damage and win a couple of games?
What if? I mean, you know, what if? You know, you just can leave it at that. That's just a word. You know, tonight we didn't win. Gonzaga played a hell of a game. He shot the ball really well. We played hard. That's what the NCAA is about. You know, the better team moved on. We give them the credit. You know, the guys that's returning can go out and make this a goal next year to make it towards the second round. The guys who not coming back, you know, just have to take this loss, you know, and chalk it up. It was a great game. I'm glad that I was a part of it.
Quincy, Mike Doherty with Minnesota Daily. Was it hard to have this your final game without Miles and Jason and Kevin alongside you?
I mean, you know, it was hard, you know, basically, you know, I mean, those were my 3, 4 seniors, so, you know, it was hard, so, you know, just gonna leave it at that.
Hi, Dusty, Mike Blavich, the Spokesman Review. Are you a true freshman or redshirt?
Redshirt freshman.
Redshirt freshman.
Yes, sir.
And obviously this was your career high game, points and rebounds. Because what did they say? You average, what, 8 minutes a game during the year?
Yeah.
Could you tell me a little bit about, you know, your contributions prior to this then, how much you've done or what your best game was?
Well, my contributions to this team before tonight was just go in there and play good defense and try to get some hustle points, and mainly get Quincy and Kevin Clark open looks during the early part of the season and stuff. But tonight the role changed a little bit, but you know, we played a great game. They played a very good game, so.
Just want to let everyone know the second game is tipped off or is about to tip off. Also, the Minnesota locker room will be open until 25 minutes after. Probably have time for one more question, if any, for the players. Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thanks, Quincy. And if we can go ahead and open it up to questions for Coach Haskins. Again, 10-minute maximum here, and then start in the back here.
James Scolari, KXOY. Coach, were you surprised at all by the way Gonzaga came out in the first half?
Well, not really. We knew they could really shoot the basketball. You know, you would like to see them miss a few of those shots, but they had some great looks, and he knocked some big buckets down. And I believe they hit the first 4 or 5 shots, which sat on that bench and like it made every shot. And they really came out on fire, and that's what you want to do, I guess, at this time of the year. And the key, though, I was very proud of our guys really battled through that because they was just outstanding the first half shooting the basketball. But the second half, we really picked it up, started guarding them, a little different ballgame.
Coach, I'm Kevin Tatum from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Being without 2 starters today, what kind of adjustments did you have to make in terms of how you wanted to play this team, or if any?
Well, you prepare for a week to get here and play this team, and all of a sudden you're slapped in the face within, you know, a few hours before the game. You can't play your starters. Guys like Miles Tarver and so much this ball club, and Kevin Clark, Antoine Broxy, and Jason Stanford, 2 of the key reserve. But the thing is, and to me, life goes on. You had to make adjustments. To me, that's what coaching is all about. And that's why we know at Minnesota, as long as we have healthy bodies and guys will compete hard, play within a system, have the character in class, we can overcome adversity. And we was in a tough situation tonight, not playing with 2 of the key players, but I was very, very proud at the end, the way we played. And like I said before, you know, you got to give the credit to the Bulldogs. They did a tremendous job.
Clem, how hard did you fight with Mac to get these kids eligible and let them play today?
Well, number one, that was a university decision. You know, I have to agree with that. And I was told them part of my decision as well as mine. And we were always going to do what's right by the University of Minnesota. You know, we don't put winning and losing above what's right. And I've never been that way in my 55 years. I won't change tomorrow or the day.
Did they ask for your opinion, or they tell you this is how it's going to be done?
As for my opinion, it's a total agreement by both parties.
Okay, so you agreed with them?
Yes,
okay.
100%.
Dan Barrero, Minneapolis Star-Tribune. Clem, was there, as of yesterday, you gave us the impression, I think you thought everybody would play. Was there something that they came to you with that made you think, to agree with the decision as a mutual decision that the 4 should not play?
Well, we didn't want to do anything to jeopardize the University of Minnesota and the athletic department, the whole university. So I thought after going through some things, we talked about it, we agreed that this is the best thing to do. Send the right message out there that we're trying to do the right thing in Minnesota. I think sometimes, you know, at this level, people sell their soul to win, and that's why I don't do that. Never have, never will. And that's why we at Minnesota have the type of program we have. And I think you sit here and look at a Dusty Reichard, where he played tonight, this young man's a walk-on. He pays anywhere from $15,000, $20,000 a year just to come to play for University of Minnesota, just hoping that he get this opportunity to play in a game like this tonight. And what a great opportunity. Young man got 23 points, 17 rebounds. You asked a question, yes, he's had some big games for us. The big win at Penn State, a game on the road, he had 11 points in that game. Game before that, he had 11 points. I don't recall exactly who he played. So he's had some double-figure games this year, and Dusty going to be really a very, very fine basketball player. But to step up tonight and give us these numbers he gave us tonight, it just really, I take things and look at it a positive way. Yes, we get beat, but, you know, it's a great step for next year. And Dusty Reichard going to be one of those guys, a guy like Mitch Onstead. So they got some quality minutes tonight. It's going to help them for next season.
Clem, are you angry at anyone, angry at any players, angry at Jan Gangelhoff for that this happened, that you had to lose 4 players for the game?
No. The thing is here, I don't do that anymore. You know, I say what I have to say, and I move on. In life, you know, life is short. You go through angry people, that you could die a very angry person. To me, whatever's right or whatever's wrong, sooner or later it's all going to shake out, come out in the wash. And we just try to do the best thing I possibly can. And that's why I say each and every day I get up, I say my prayers before I go to bed at night, and I'm just thankful the next morning I get up. And I give the grace and credit to God. And without that, I'd probably be a bitter man. But I learned to turn the cheek up many years ago. And this type of thing, it just tests your courage. It tests you if you're Christian. It tests you as a man. And this type of thing, you go through life. Can you pass a test? And I've been tested many times, so just one more test for whatever reason. But I think we'll pass the test in flying colors.
Clem, Rick Morrissey from the Chicago Tribune. Do you have any concern that your job is in jeopardy because of all this?
No, I have no concern about that at all. You know, if you've been doing something for many years and all of a sudden something like this come out, you got to worry about your job, then the people who've been on your side all along probably weren't your true friends. And no, we got great support from the president today, and I'm very, very proud of what he said, the statement he made, and he calling me and saying, we know we have the best basketball coach in America. Run a clean program. We're glad to have you here. So I don't worry about a thing. Go coach the game. And that meant a lot to me personally.
Clem, if the university found that the 4 kids did indeed commit academic fraud, would you feel betrayed by them because they were your kids?
You know, I don't think that's a word I like to use today, and that's something I have to research back, and I wouldn't want to comment on that, to be honest with you. No, I don't feel betrayed personally. I think you have to understand life, and I think sometimes we're an adult, we happen to be a writer, and you guys can write what you want to write, but people make mistakes. You know, I'm not saying that who made a mistake, if we made a mistake, but life goes on, and we all make mistakes. I think Crunch is running by a man who made a terrible mistake, but that was bad for about a year, but we don't talk about that anymore. So we've passed that stage, and the same thing in Minnesota. This will pass in due time. At the present time, it's a learning experience you go through, and it's pretty tough. But as I said, the sun will come up tomorrow. We've got a high cloud today. We're losing this basketball game. We'll win in the future, and we'll get by this in the future, too.
Would you, if in fact there was information to suggest that the allegations were accurate, would you feel any sense of responsibility as the head coach of this team?
You always have to be responsible for the action of your players. I take total responsibility for my players. You're 100% right. I think it'd be a cop-out if I said no. I run the basketball program at the University of Minnesota. So, yes, I'm held responsible for that. And the thing is here, you put your trust and faith in people, but man, from time to time, for whatever reason, will let you down. And I think that's proven through history.
You sort of answered my question, but do you plan to go back and maybe look at the whole way things are set up and any changes might be made in the structure of your program or things like that?
You know, you're always looking for change. You're always looking for improvement. And I think that's what's important in the world. If something wrong, you want to try to fix it. You possibly can. There's no perfect beast in the country, no perfect coach, no perfect writer. We do the best we possibly can, and you learn from your mistakes. If mistakes were made, we learn from it, we move from there on.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Coach, very much. Appreciate it. Good luck.
Thank you.
Clem Haskins of Minnesota. Of course, the Golden Gophers losing to Gonzaga today in the West Regional. If you're just joining us, 4 players suspended for the Golden Gophers this morning for alleged academic improprieties. Obviously, that played a large factor in the Gophers' loss, playing shorthanded. Stay with us. ESPN News back with more. Some highlights from the first round coming up when ESPN News continues.
Coming up, the latest on the charges of cheating plaguing the U of M. Then Terry Ventura is sick and told to get rest. We'll tell you what is wrong with Minnesota's First Lady. Plus, how these local parents are bridging the
side as the Hawks host Boston. Atlanta in danger of going below 500 for the first time since 1996. Elsewhere, the Heat looking for their 9th straight win and 10th win in 12 meetings with Toronto. And Patrick Ewing is listed as day-to-day as the Knicks face the Wizards. More from the NBA. The Seattle Sonics have lost 5 in a row. That could change. They face the Bulls, who are averaging a league-low 82 points a night. The Grizz and the Rockets. Vancouver's on a 9-game losing streak. The Magic at Dallas. And Orlando trying to avoid their first 3-game losing streak of the season. Late games, Utah trying to reach 15 wins on the year as they host the Nuggets. The Kings and the Clippers, LA with 17 straight losses. And the T-Wolves have won 4 of their last 5. They'll face the Warriors at Golden State. On the ice, the Sabres taking on Tampa Bay, the Lightning, the worst team in the league, but a respectable 4-5 in their last 9 games. Florida and Washington both still alive in the playoff hunt, although the Panthers have just 1 win in their last 6. And the Maple Leafs visit the island. New York is mired in a 5-game winless streak. Speaking of winless, and I think I was, the Flyers are winless in their last 8, but they've got Mark Recchi back in town as they face the Avs. The Blues try to avoid a season-high 4th straight loss as they host Montreal. The Habs playing without Recchi for the first time. And the Oats take on Vancouver. The Canucks are winless in their last 5. Phoenix unbeaten in their last 4 meetings with Vancouver. Stay close. ESPN News back with a whole lot more after this.
If this is you, communications has finally caught up with the way you live. Introducing AT&T Personal Network. All the ways you want to communicate in one network.
With 36-24 in the second half, Profit and Terrence Morris had 18 each. Steve Francis, 15 points and 7 dimes. Maryland awaiting the winner of Louisville and Creighton. Speaking of which, second half, Louisville up 38-27. It's Cameron Murray, the long pass to Nate Johnson, who knocks down the jumper. Louisville up 48-27, or 40-27. Creighton mounting the big comeback, though. Ryan Sears to Doug Svensson, who gets the layup and one. Blue Jays down only one after Swenson made the free throw. Game tied at 49. Rodney Buford all day. Creighton up by 3. Louisville down 5. They are desperately in need of some offense. Ryan Sears takes the charge from Cameron Murray. That's not good. Creighton hangs on to win. A couple of good ones at the arena. 62-58 the final score. The 7 and 10 seeds in the South region as Creighton advancing past the Cardinals. 62-58 the final. The Blue Jays winning their 22nd game on the season. The fans in Orlando enjoying these games, and Indiana most likely not psyched about going to the arena. They looked miserable in that building in the opening round of the 1996 tournament. St. John's brings a 3 seed in against TAC champion Samford. Second round winners here will advance to the regionals in Knoxville, Tennessee. Auburn is the top seed in the South, facing number 16 Winthrop. Auburn by 7 in the first half. Doc Robinson to Bryant Smith. The lefty layup and one. Tigers up 25-16. More of the same. Mamadou Njai partially blocks the shot. Let's all run the other way together. Njai, get up and get down. Weren't pretty, but it worked. Auburn cruising easily. 80-41 the final score. So the top-seeded Auburn Tigers winning once again. Scott Pullman with 14 points. He had 11 of those in the first half as Auburn wins their 28th on the season. Pullman and Doc Robinson each with 14. Chris Porter, the leading scorer for the Tigers, held to 9 points as the Tigers win their 5th straight first-round game. Earlier in the day, it was Syracuse and Oklahoma State in the 8-9 game. OK State by 5. Doug Gottlieb, the bounce pass to Desmond Mason. That's what I'm talking about. Cowboys by 7. Mason had 28. Second half, Q's down by 2. Good ball movement gets it to Damone Brown, who knocks down the Jays. Score tied for the first time since the opening tip. The Cowboys come back. Gottlieb to Joe Adkins. 10-10, 3-2-1 for long distance. State by 3. More of Oklahoma State. Glendon Alexander to Brian Montanati for the layup. Fabende. Oklahoma State goes on to the upset win, 69-61, as Desmond Mason and Adrian Peterson combined for 49 of the 69 points. Peterson matching a career high with 5 trays. The Orange lose in the first round for the first time since 1991 when they lost to the Richmond Spiders in that now infamous upset. This the South Regional, and the Cowboys facing Auburn next.
We shot the ball well from beyond the arc. When we play well, we have to knock down some trays. So it was a good win for us over a very good Syracuse ball club.
We were fighting the battle all day to get back where we could get somewhere where we could get a lead, and we just couldn't do that.
Especially in an extreme situation like this, where you're talking about, a little bit of beer and making felons out of them. Representative Westerberg, will you yield again?
He yields.
So, Representative Westerberg, I own the car. My son is operating it. Am I a felon along with my son then?
Yep. Yep.
And Representative Palante, please, I'm just trying to get to the bottom. You don't have to jump up over there. If your freshmen are going to carry bills, they should be able to answer the questions.
Representative Westerberg.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. Representative Rukavina, honestly, I don't know the answer to that as far as whether or not you would be guilty, because I'm not an attorney and I don't know if the parent would be held liable for what the individual has done, your son or daughter. I believe that you are held liable.
So members
you would be responsible for the actions of your...
One person at a...
Doomsday Prophet, leader of the Denver-based cult that calls itself Concerned Christians, is allegedly planning to raise hell for Y2K.
He has prophesied that he would shed blood, and he himself might shed his own blood in Jerusalem in the fulfillment of his prophecies.
Many individuals involved in the New Age movement do not understand or believe in the coming of the Lord Maitreya.
You'll remember last fall, Monty Kim Miller predicted that Denver would be destroyed by an act of God. Hardcopy was first to report that members disappeared. Then they turned up in the Holy Land. In January, Israeli authorities booted them out because officials feared a mass suicide. Well, now, Hard Copy has learned the cult is regrouping in the Mediterranean.
Greece could be a staging area to put him closer to his goal, which is Jerusalem and Israel. I would expect a burst of violence at a holy site if he could pull it off.
This is not God's love. This is mind control.
Sherry Clark worries about the cult's scary Millennium End game. Several years ago, her daughter got mixed up with the concerned Christians. Now she has no idea where in the world her daughter and grandkids might be.
And I had to come to the place where I took all my daughter's pictures and I literally wrapped them up and put them away in a drawer 2 years ago.
The court distractions heading into this game, but Gonzaga, even as a 10 seed, favored over the Gophers before the suspensions. And we see the four guys sitting in sweatsuits watching their teammates. That is Richie Fromm, not Richie Farmer, not Squeaky Fromm, but the guy who's lived in the shadow of Matt Santangelo for Gonzaga all year, hitting threes from behind the line early.
Gonzaga can really knock down the trifecta. There it is, baby. Nothing but nylon, MBN.
But Fromm giving support with Santangelo. They were watching him early. They knew he could play. They didn't expect this from Fromm.
Well, Santangelo had 34 points in a championship game against Santa Clara, so they focused on him, and that's how Fromm got hot.
19-point lead over Clem Haskins' team. He didn't know what hit him. They were down 21 early in the second half, but then they make a run there. Dusty Reichart there for the follow, the walk-on, out of nowhere to have a huge game score.
I'll tell you, Reichart really played strong down the stretch, but what a big basket there on the interior.
That was Fromm again, spins the circus lay-in for two in the foul, not just a three-point shooter. Terrence Simmons made some big shots for Minnesota. The crossover and the punch down, Gophers back within 7. Terrific game. But Fromm, again, up by only 2.
There it is.
Knocks down the gutsy three-pointer.
There it is, Chris. The big trifecta, really the theme of today, making threes.
The Gophers fall, and Fromm, 26 points, 5 of 11 three-pointers, didn't miss a free throw, and Gonzaga hangs on to win it by a dozen. Boy, they really seem to tighten up. Minnesota got close because they're not used to playing that half-court style.
Well, they didn't challenge the zone early. I mean, when you take a look, Minnesota starting the game in a 2-3 zone, that really hurt. If you looked at the scouting report, you knew Gonzaga's had 18 threes, but yet the second half they went man-to-man, tightened it up, and that's how they got back in it.
Afterward, Dan Monson.
Key to our team is if we play good defense and rebound the ball, we're very good in transition and getting, it might not be in the first pass or two, but getting people on their heels. And in the first half, we had them on their heels. The second half, we were walking the...
And you don't like to hear it. Here it is in the postseason. My only question, why did the report come out the day before the tournament?
Published report in the St. Paul newspaper really started this whole thing. But again, the investigation has been going on a long, long time and involves a lot more than those 4 players. It involves a couple of dozen players.
Hey, Chris, one quick comment. Quincy Lewis, 8 points, did not play well, and that was the difference. Gonzaga did a great job defending him.
Well, you had to step up. You're right.
Well, Gonzaga, I think, is going to have a serious problem because Minnesota did do a good job. They got 17 offensive rebounds, and against Stanford, that's going to be a difference. I'll tell you that if they get to Stanford.
Digger perhaps justifiably projecting Stanford into the next round overall.